Good morning. We're going to do this really nice scene. This is Newburyport Center. We did this before, but I'm going to do this. We're going to make this into a rainy day. I'm really interested in these big dark shapes. I want you to put some nice pigment in there, okay? All right, here we go. Interested in is those really dark shapes in the background. I want you to get those. All right, we're going to drop some just, cobalt blue or ultramarine for sky here, very light, and we'll bring that down. I'm adding a little more ultramarine for where the buildings are, but not important really. I'm just bringing that down, bringing that whole shape down. And now I added a little tiny bit of rose to make the street here. The street is more of a violet, so I added a little rose to that ultramarine. Just letting it all come down, I'm leaving a little white lines here for the sidewalk, for the walk lines there. So all you have to do is paint around the cars, really. All right, so I'm going in with a little darker version, really, of that violet, but it's still, I'm painting that church in the background. But the church is in the background, so it's going to get light. So it's really a fairly light color. It's going to dry much later. But in relation to the dark buildings, it's going to push that back. So this is the UU Church in Newburyport. Beautiful, beautiful building. All right, so just painting that shape. Bring it down to the buildings. The buildings are very dark, so this is ultramarine blue mixed with cadmium red. There's a traffic light up in the air there. There's two of them. So there's just this big dark shape that we want to get in there, and then it's really why I chose this. I want you to get into this really beautiful dark shape and not be afraid of dark. Not be afraid of putting in some real pigment here. All right, I'm putting the pigment in, but what I'm going to do here is add a little more. These are brick buildings, so once I get it in, I'm going to add a little more red to it. And it's important to paint with the strokes coming down in the shape of the building, so the paint will flow that way. Added a little more red to the roof of that building, but strokes going, and that'll give you a nice shape. And I add a little almost black, but it's very warm. It's ultramarine with quincy in it and a little touch of cadmium red. It just gives you a little help in shaping those buildings in that dark shape. You want to have a little separation in the buildings. Okay. Even a nice spray, keep that paint moving. I'm going to pop in the chimneys here. This is the same color as I added. A little touch, a little more red to it, just a little bit of cadmium red. There's a couple of chimneys here, and there's a few on the other side. And they're really nice because they break up the horizontal shapes with some verticals, and that really adds a lot to our shape, to our building. Plopping in the suggestion of some windows here and there. Alright, here's the other chimneys on this side. There's one here, and then there's one partially hidden here behind the stoplight that's hanging. We'll put those in a little bit later. There's a couple of pipes hanging, sticking up. All the verticals are good. I have a moist brush here. This is a damp brush. I'm just lifting off a little bit of paint here and there and suggesting windows. They're actually white trim, you know, in the photo. Just enough to suggest them, you know, the paint, just lifting off a little bit here and there. Alright, there's a whole line of bumpers here. Big cement columns, just so cars cannot run up on this sidewalk. And there's steps. Really beautiful square here at Newburyport. Steps leading up to that platform there. Right, I'm going to put the cars in now. Cars are easy to do, and you want to shape them, want to make them big enough. A lot of students make them too small, so make them big enough. The front of this car is facing us, and it's away from the light, so it's going to be very dark. Get the front end dark. The tires, they're just blocks, you know. That line under the car is very important. That shadow under the car. Very important to sit the car down, you know. Some little light peeking through there. I'm going to put the windows. I'm using that dark color, but I added a tiny drop of Windsor blue to it, just to sort of get the reflection of the window. Dark windows. Mirrors hanging off the sides. Okay, same here. This car is going the other way, so the back of the car is very dark and against the light, backlit. Same thing, tires coming down with that shadow underneath the car. Sometimes you can see a muffler or pipes hanging down. Make them big enough, you know, they're much bigger in front of you, and then obviously get smaller as they go back. Okay, there's the shadow underneath the car. That really sits it down, as you can see. Okay, same thing here. This guy has some bright light shining on the window, so I left a little speck of white there. I'm going to go back with some gouache maybe later and pump it up a little bit. Alright, these little things like mirrors hanging off and license plates and so forth, they make the car interesting. So, you know, it's like figures. You do 100 of them, and then you'll start to get them right. I'm still trying to get them right. Just finishing up that it's like a platform or a little boardwalk for the public there. It's very nice. It's really almost like a patio. All right, I'm going to put the red stoplights in these cars. That makes a big difference, as you can see. It really helps the car come to life. So I'm going to make it a rainy day. So I'm adding water. This is just clear water. I'm brushing on underneath from the cars down. And then I'm going to add, what I'm going to do here is loosen up the pigment from the car itself first. Just get a little shadow coming in. That's just the pigment that I put in, you know, for the shadow under the car. You can see I added a little more because there just wasn't enough. That's coming down, so added a little color to it, ultramarine. Drops of gouache here and there where it needed, you know, where the, all right, there's the reflection of the tail lights, parking lights there. Put plenty of water there, give it a little spray, let those reflections come down. Right. Just adding a little gouache. Let's see. A little more spray. All right, I'm going to add some figures here. This one, just using some cadmium yellow. I'm going to give them a little raincoat. They're off in the distance, so they're just a little small figure. And while I have that yellow, I'm going to pop in the stoplight that's hanging. There's two stoplights hanging over the street here. Just using the cadmium yellow. Another one on this side. It's a very busy intersection here. And while I have that yellow, I might as well put another figure in here, a little closer to us. All right, that's a slicker. You have a slicker on, maybe a little hood. Go back and finish the body there on that one. Give him a partner. Somebody talking to, somebody with them. You see the yellow is nice. It brightens up the painting here and there, you know. So there's his friend, and they're holding close to each other while they get out of the rain and get the reflection. Put a couple of umbrellas in there. Bright one in the back. Oh, let's give them a black one. A little small, so I'm just gonna make it a little bit bigger here. Good. I added some cobalt blue to that. Get the reflection of the people. We had a bunch more little people in the background there walking around that that beautiful boulevard. Just really suggest them as almost little dots. You don't have to do much, but they read as people, and that's good. All right, I got to put the poles in for these lights so you know how they're they're not floating. They're hanging off poles. Right. Put some color in these lights. Just a little gouache and just restating these crosswalk lines there. Oh, this just brightens up that street line just a little bit and helps. Get some lines in the middle. Okay, just little stuff, little details to finish up. A little color in this car, just a very light red. You know, once it's dry, you can put a little color in it. All right, I'm just adding those lights on the reflecting on the windshields and on the back of this window. Just, you know, a little bit of light from the sky. Even though it's raining, there's some nice light. All that helps. All right, there's some trees there as well, so I'm going to put those in. Just, they're very thick in nature, but I'm just gonna suggest them for you so you can see. Okay. All right, so that's a real fun scene. A lot of busy stuff going on. Hope you enjoyed that. Thank you again for joining me, and please don't forget to subscribe. I appreciate it very much, and I will see you soon. Thanks again. Bye-bye.